Marlin 795 Nutnfancy testing, 26 yards, CCI, Shooter's Ridge extended magazine. Holy cow, that's accurate. Wow. Basically one hole. Through the years, both online and in person, I have, on occasion, encountered an individual who considers himself above the 22. He's too good for it. That perhaps for him, the 22 was a rite of passage when he was much younger and didn't know anything about firearms. I've known guys like this. You've known guys like this. Throughout the decades, I've invited guys like this to go shooting 22s. And in so many words, their response will go, I'm actually making this up, but it captures the attitude and it's pretty funny. They'll go, hey, Nutnfancy, great idea on shooting 22s. Why don't we soap up the slip and slide in the front yard and set up a lemonade stand while we're at it? Yeah, to them, 22s are kids' play. Great for Girl Scout camps and shooting galleries, but not for them. They have since moved on to, I don't know, real guns. Incidentally, these are the same guys that show up to shooting clinics with a lot of attitude, talking a big game and having all sorts of tactical gadgetry on their guns and themselves. And they can't hit the target. They suck. They can't shoot. Why is that? Because they probably never mastered the marksmanship fundamentals that very 22 they hate so much could have taught them. I'll tell you this, me, Nutnfancy, I am and always have been a 22 addict. Love them. 22 pistols, 22 rifles. If they're well designed, they represent high value, they're accurate, they're mostly reliable, they are 22s after all, then I'm probably going to be a fan of that gun. If they get all those things and more things right to very high levels, they become favorites. And in the process, they become Hall of Famers in the Nutnfancy Project, TNP for short. Welcome, finally, to the tabletop review of just such a gun, the Marlin 795 semi-automatic 22 rifle. To me, it is a Hall of Famer. I absolutely love it. In fact, I'm infatuated with all the 22 rifles that Marlin makes. I don't want to get weird about it, but when I go through their catalog, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, love it. There's our 795, and there's a stainless steel version one, not shown but mentioned. Oh, and there's our friend the Papoose, model 70 PSS. Essentially, it is a 795 with a detachable barrel, thinner profile. And yes, that is the Papoose on the table. Duracoated in Black Hawk Coyote Tan, looks sweet, great survival gun, great recreational gun, and such is my love for that gun that it was the very first 22 rifle I ever reviewed here in the Nutnfancy Project. Circa 2008, I did an in-field review of the 70 PSS. I may redo that one these days. I love that gun, and it is essentially a 795 lighter weight, again, detachable barrel. But thumbing through the catalog, they're all great guns. The 39A, one of the longest produced, if not the longest produced rifle in the world. Love it. The 795, kind of jumping ahead in the talking points to, I don't know, history, track record, whatever, is essentially a Model 60 with a detachable magazine, 10-round mag. Same action, just a few modifications to take that. And I'll tell you what, I've sent thousands of rounds downrange, probably just like a lot of you guys watching this video, with a Model 60, and I love that gun too. It's only 5.5 pounds. You can get them for around $100. Way cool. I love different stocks. Yeah, I'm infatuated with Marlin 22s. They're all excellent. The XT, outstanding. This is the successor to the 925. You've seen that shot in the project a lot. One of the best bolt-action 22 rifles in the world, in my opinion. Love it. I want to get crazy in the catalog. We got to get going. Marlin 795 review. There's so many great things to say. As usual, there's a couple negative things to say. I always have to do that in the review. First up, I don't know why I don't have it on here, but philosophy of use. I'm just going to cover it briefly. I think, of course, the 795 is a recreational / marksmanship training rifle. I think it excels in that role. Perfect choice. Would it be a good survival choice? I think the 70 PSS is a much better choice. It takes down, has the same accuracy level in my experience, same firepower. Better choice, lighter weight, more compact, blah, 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 all that stuff. But yes, the 795 is also a good choice for that. Probably not a great collectible. I mean, it doesn't really represent anything special. It has a, you know, plastic stock, blued, really nothing second kind of cool that strikes me about it. Those are primarily the big uses for the gun. Recreation and marksmanship training. Also, critter getter, you bet. 795s no doubt have served all over, I don't know, the world, doing dispatch duties for pests. Could work very well that way. History and track record. I really don't know the history of the 795. Other than that, I think its successor, or its predecessor, I should say, was the Model 70. In fact, the Model 70 HC, circa 1988 to 1996, used to have a 25-round, what they called a banana magazine. Looked like it was made by Ramline, or as I always refer to it as Jamline. Good luck finding those now, and they just went with a 10-round after they discontinued that, which is kind of sad. I'll talk more about firepower. There's lots to say on that. In fact, there's always lots to say on everything. Then we had, I don't know, the Glenfield 70 with 12-round mags, produced 88 to 96. That's about it. Innovation is pretty much standard for a 22. It's a blowback operated 22 rifle, semi-automatic variety. It does have some very cool things that other 22s don't. How about last shot hold open? You get done shooting and that's where you end up, usually, I'll explain, with a 795 or a Papoose or 60 for that matter. And then you have a quick bolt release right there. That is innovation with a 22. You don't have that with like a Ruger 1022 and several other designs. And then the value is just amazing. I'm going to go on to that right now. Actually, it's not amazing, it's mind-blowing, and this is another reason I'm such a fan of Marlin rifles, because you get so much for your money. I'm going to ballpark it at around $125 is what you'll pay for, not this gun, but the Marlin 795. Subject to change, at least in 2011, they were having a rebate for $25, so we'll call it a cool 100 you're going to pull this down to your gun shelf for. Totally worth it. There's some other high-value 22s out there. Maybe, what is it, the Mossberg Plinkster? That's out there. And, of course, our friend, the Ruger 1022, which is probably its biggest competitor. You guys saw this on the Everyman's Rifle series. This is that limited edition camoed version. The Ruger 1022 is excellent. Does not have last shot hold open, though. It does have some other advantages. This is big competition. It is more expensive, though. The 1022. There's other semi-autos out there, of course, like the excellent Remington 597. I don't have one on the table. Excellent gun as well. I think the value is amazing. Do you need any other extras to complete the gun? Sharp-eyed viewers already know what this is about. I'm going to get to it in accessories, maybe accuracy. Hang on, I'm getting to it. The answer is no. Out of box, you're pretty much going to get a complete rifle with a 795. Okay, basic sights like that. Don't look at that rear one yet. I'll tell you about that in a sec. It works. You know, other things that it might need would be a sling. Kind of jumping ahead to accessories a little bit. This is a sling that I sewed for the gun. Yep, I just got some high quality strapping. Got some synthetic swivels, which I pretty much always prefer. Those are made out of nylon, very lightweight and strong. sewed this here strap. Quick to adjust, and I think it's critical for shooting the gun offhand. You got to have a good gun strap. Locking it in helps tremendously. Size and weight, I probably forgot some stuff on value. How about 4 pounds 8 ounces as you see it here on the table? In the background with a 4-power Weaver scope, that Model 70 PSS is only 4 pound 1 ounce. How incredible is that? I probably ought to get this off the table so I don't distract you too much. Love that, Papoose. That is a lightweight gun. And here's the kicker too. Look at the barrel, guys. Do you see a barrel insert? That is like nylon or plastic barrel with a steel sleeve. I don't. I see a thick barrel on that sucker. Micro groove rifling is what Marlin talks about, and I'll tell you this, it is extremely accurate. 1 in 16 twist, and it's 18 inches in the 795. Look how thick that is. The reason I'm pointing this out is, one, I love that because you still have a very light gun, even with that barrel on it. Once upon a time, they had the Model 7000 heavy-barreled Marlin. I don't think it sold that well. I think primarily because most people, like myself, would look at this and go, that's plenty thick for what I need to do, that barrel thickness on the 795. Great job. Overall length is only 37 inches. A very easy gun to tote around. I find the length of pull to be slightly short for me. I'm 6'3". It might be perfect for you. I can live with it. I think, probably going ahead to ergonomics, I think overall the stock is pretty much excellent. Somewhat of a raised cheek piece, okay traction on the pistol grip and on the fore end. What's this about, Nutnfancy? That's just some athletic tape that I was experimenting with to increase the traction. If there's any downside on the stock, it's that it is slick on the 795. It is. I wish the checkering was sharper. I wish the fore end would perhaps just a little bit broader. The best synthetic stock that I've ever seen on a .22 rifle. I shouldn't say the best, one of the best. You saw this also in Everyman's Rifle series, a 1022. How about the Butler Creek synthetic stock? Once upon a time, they made one for the 795. It's been discontinued. Everybody cry. Yeah, that sucks. This is how the molded in checkering should be, and look at the fore end on that. Very comfortable. Length of pull is just perfect. Really deep pistol grip on that, and a nice recoil pad as well. That's another thing on the 795. Kind of a hit. Not kind of, it is a hit. Very slick butt pad. Again, I put some athletic tape on mine to give me some more traction. There's probably other ways to attack that problem. Size and weight are absolutely superb on the 795. Huge home run for the design. Firepower. Okay, here we go. First up, 10-round magazines as they come from Marlin are excellent. They are chrome plated, they are reliable, they last forever in my experience, and I love them. I have no issues with them at all. I think every 795 owner should get an assortment of them, have them on hand, because that is going to be the most reliable way that you're going to send rounds downrange. Do you prefer the Model 60 or the 795, Nutnfancy? Funny how I predict the questions before they come. I will say I prefer the 795. I think it's much quicker to slam in a magazine than to turn the gun up, pull the tube out, and throw the rounds down there. Not a huge deal, but I prefer the magazine. All right, is there a reliable, higher capacity magazine for the 795? As of 2011, midsummer when I'm filming this, sadly, I will say the answer is a definite no. What? But Nutnfancy Shooter's Ridge just came out with a 25 rounder. I know. I'm not going to say it here. I'm going to break it out into its own video because they may improve the design. But this was not a reliable magazine in hundreds and hundreds of rounds shot. In fact, it sucked bad. If that changes in this video, which is going to be out there for years, I will annotate it right there. I do not suspect it's going to change. In a nutshell, I'll just show you this. During shooting, yeah, look at the video. I'll annotate it when I get it up. Go look at the video, my review on the Shooter's Ridge magazine for the 795. No, there is not a reliable, higher capacity magazine for the 795 as of yet. I sure hope that changes. There was another one out there, a 15 rounder. I even think I broke it out into its own video years ago by National. piece of garbage. It's like sheet metal. It cuts your hands when you load it. Very unreliable. I hated it. I sent them all back. I think I got them from Sportsman's Guide or something like that. Stay away from them. Stick with these magazines I'm showing you here. All right, little shout out to Marlin if you watch this review. Hey Marlin, make a higher capacity magazine, factory produced. Don't license it out to someone else for the Marlin series, for the 795. Heck, for your bolt guns too. There's other companies that have done it. Huh. Kind of like our friends at Ruger. They finally broke the code. It took them decades to make it, but here's a BX25. Very high quality, factory produced magazine for your competition, the Ruger 1022, which is also a Hall of Famer. Absolutely love it. Do this for that. Marlin, get on the stick, man. That is really the only thing holding the 795 back from being like a runaway bestseller for Marlin. If they had a reliable high cap mag, dudes, sky's the limit for Marlin, with a couple caveats. I'm talking accessories here. That's firepower. Stick with those mags. Accuracy. Oh, I'm gonna like this part. This is fun. And dudes, I got so many targets, it's not even funny. Let's start it off. 17 yards from the Nutnfancy barricade. The reason I write that is because it's not from a bench rest. There is a difference. The barricade wiggles around. It's not exactly stable. Look at the results. 17 yards. This is Federal bulk. Wow. Good groups. 5 rounds, 5 rounds. Dudes, it's like 1/3 of an inch to a 1/2 inch group at that distance. Oh, but that's only 17 yards. Nothing fancy. All right, let's move back to 26 yards. Still off the TMPB. Federal bulk. That's at garbage, unreliable, sometimes fails to fire. Walmart ammunition. I was just shooting it. I shot several types. Pretty good. I was more careful here. Got a good group. This is running, by the way, the awesome and much beloved Weaver RV9 scope. I broke this out into a separate review. I think it's probably one of the best overall high value 22 rifle scopes out there. There's probably some others I've missed, but this has an adjustable objective for close range shooting. So if you do some close range informal competitions or formal competitions with your buddies, it'll set you up and it won't break the bank. Love this scope. So all the testing I'm showing here had that riding on top of it. Kind of a shotgun pattern here. Nice group there, 26 yards, got a cruise. Oh yeah. This is CCI Mini Mag, 26 yards off the barricade. Nice group. This is what you'll get out of your Marlin. It just is crazy accurate. That was last month I did this one when I was testing the single 6. By the way, when I wrote jam, that is not the gun jamming, but that's those Shooter Ridge magazines jamming on me, causing me problems. CCI Mini Mag, 5 round strings. While I'm showing you this, I'm going to roll in the footage of me shooting. Let's move it on back to 33 yards with Federal bulk. Yeah, I was very happy with that. With that style of ammo off a wiggly barricade, yeah, I think that's pretty good. 33 yards. Could it be better? Actually, I missed one. That opened up a little bit right there. Probably. Okay, I got to jump ahead. I'm going to show you here these in a second. To accessories. We're still talking about accuracy, ergonomics, all that. Here we go. The next set of targets I'm going to show you were not shot with RV9 scope. They were shot iron sights. And let me tell you, boys, there's not a lot of accessories out for the Marlin 795, but here's one that is an absolute must-have in my book. They're called the Tech sights. They are GI-style aperture sights, extremely well made by a father and son team running a company called Tech Sight. There's the address in the upper left, or I'll put it on the video somewhere. Awesome sights, aperture sights, and you replace the front blade. Notice you don't have to remove the rear sight that comes stock from Marlin. You can just, it sights right over that. No problems at all. You do remove and replace the front sight. Look at how precise their front post is. That back aperture, I want to make sure I get this right, is .062 in diameter. It fuzzes out perfectly and it gives you a beautiful sight picture. One you have to shoot to actually appreciate. You have to appreciate it because it gives you such amazing preciseness. Witness the targets. Here we go back to accuracy. These were shot with tech sights, nothing more, at a shooting range, 25 yards. Now this one, first one's 15 yards. Nice group. I think I'm shooting all mini mags here. Sick. One hole. Awesome. From iron sights? Dudes, I'm going to give a shout out to appleseed.org right now. These are guys who are out there training people to be riflemen. Defenders of Liberty. Big thumbs up from Nutnfancy. This is one of their favorite guns, by the way. The 795. I'm talking guys who shoot in Appleseed. 795 equipped with tech sights. Great organization. If it's in your town, go out and do an Appleseed shoot. Learn about the history of our forefathers, about the foundation of gun ownership. It's awesome what they do. They have a really interesting course of fire they do. Maybe one day I'll be able to hook up with those boys. Look at that group right there. Awesome. Moving on back. 25 yards. Marlin 795 shooting tech sights, CCI mini mags. Beautiful groups. Can you believe those are iron sights? Little bit of dispersion right there. That's the capability. One hole at 25 yards with iron sights, 22. That's not match ammo, that's CCI mini mag. Here comes another. I told you I had a lot of targets. I hope you guys aren't getting bored. Check that. I love these VisiShot targets, by the way. They're so visible. Nice group right there. You guys get the gist, right? And then, sorry, there's more. Took it to Impact Guns. I used Derek. He's one of the managers at the stores to help me. And we shot the tech sights too. I wanted to get his opinion on the sights actually. I started us off with these targets and I had a kind of a warm-up group, not too impressive. This, by the way, I said 22, that's wrong. It's 24 yards is what we're shooting at. And this is from standing, not from the bench, with tech sights. 1.5 inches, check this. 25 yards, I'm rolling in the footage while I'm talking right now. Or I'll do it beginning or end, I don't know where. Almost a half an inch right there. Standing. Slung up with my homemade sling. Tech sights. Dudes, you're going to love this sight. They're not super cheap. They're $69 and no, I can't get you a discount. It's a mom and pop, not a mom, but a father and son team. Their margins are very slim. I want them to be successful. Go get your tech sights. Tell them Nutnfancy sent you. They're totally worth the money. When you just see how well made they are, how easy they are to adjust, both windage and elevation, money. Look at this, 1 inch tech sights, iron sights off of 22, shooting that well. Could you do that well with a stock Marlin 795 sights? I don't think I could, not with my eyes. Maybe you could. I really don't think I could. The tech sights just open up so much more accuracy for the type. Here we go, 24 yard CCI mini mags. Who is this? Making sure I'm telling you who shot what. This is me still. Okay, right there, good groups, 1.4 inches, 0.8 inches from standing, 25 yards. Getting enough flavor of the 795's accuracy. There's 10 rounds, standing 1.7 inches. Wow. Then Derek played some too. He tried standing. I don't know what it was about that day at Impact. I had like 3 shooters and they all were having troubles. I say troubles. I mean, to me, I would like to see all rounds kept within the green at 24 yards. 2.9 inch group, 2 inch group standing, and then I was like, hey, maybe you should take the bench. So he benched it and did that. And did that. 0.65 with tech sights and then 1.9 off the bench. There you have it. Accuracy is absolutely phenomenal from the 795, on par with any other 22 semi-auto rifle out there. And you could probably do better than the targets that I just showed you. But I mean, how are you going to do it? We're basically shooting one hole at 25 yards with rack grade ammunition, CCI mini mags. Love the accuracy of the 795. Ergonomics. I talked about the stock already. How about the trigger? On my scale, it pulls a somewhat mushy 6 pounds. The disadvantage, I guess, and this is kind of an accessories point, is that it's not easily swapped out. In fact, I don't know of any way you can swap out a Marlin trigger. You're pretty much going to have to live with it. Can you gunsmith it? I don't know. Haven't tried. but I don't think you really need to do that much with a trigger. I mean, you saw the accuracy and what you can achieve with it. It's not bad. Pulling 6 pounds, I've pulled a lot of triggers that are much worse than that. Ergonomically, it's something I can live with, and I think most Marlin owners would agree. The magazine release, ergonomically speaking, not super awesome. It's because it's almost a two-handed affair. You're holding the gun like that, and then you got to depress that. I think the Ruger 1022 mag release and even the 597's mag release might be a little bit faster, but to me it's such a minor issue I really don't even think about it, like ever. And for such a lightweight compact gun, no problems at all. Trigger guard is of course polymer. I'll get to give you a point on feel stripping here in just a second. Sights, ergonomically speaking, are okay. I already explained probably the way you should go. The charging handle is actually pretty decent. It sticks out a little bit further than other charging handles a la 1022. It's rounded, it has some knurling on it. And I did some clicking around on the internet, and there is a company called, I think, Rimfire Technologies that has a billet steel charging handle for $25 you can put on there. I have no plans of putting it on my 795. I think it's fine the way it is, just right there. Length of pull, like I said, pretty decent. The operation on the gun is just fast. I love the last shot bolt hold open. Let me say this now, we're going to maybe mention it again. It did not work every time. Don't know why. Now, I just cleaned the gun, and some guys say, well, your gun was dirty. Well, that's for sure, it was dirty. But I even test fired it after a very thorough cleaning last night, still having issues. Should work like that, right? After last shot. This gun, for whatever reason, would not. I examined the magazines, I took the gun apart, looked at the internal, see if I could see anything as a layman, you know, that I could identify. I couldn't. It would just end up like that. Don't know why. Is it because the bolt's not going all the way back locking? Don't know. And on several occasions, I actually had this bolt release. I really don't know how to explain it. It actually kind of disengaged. So the bolt would lock back. I put the bolt release down. It would not release the bolt. And then I have to fiddle around with it, take the magazine out. I ended up getting it going again. I think it might be a problem with this individual gun. And guess what? It's getting sent back to Marlin, who has excellent customer service. They'll fix it. And all kind of guns have that stuff. I'm definitely not going to condemn the design for that. Accessories. Here's the downside on the Marlin. Yeah, I engraved the receiver. Pretty gutsy move, Nutnfancy. What if you screwed it up? Word. I could have. I have a lot of practice engraving now, so I'm not worried about it. Accessories market for the Marlins is very limited. Yeah, there's some different stocks for them. Ones, personally, I do not like. There's a bullpup stock running around out there for the 795. I hate it. There's a Dragunov style stock running out there for a 795. I hate that one too. Sorry. Don't like it. I don't think they in any way compare to the regular stock as it comes from the factory. Also, anytime you go with a bullpup design, you're going to have some type of linkage between connecting the trigger and the bullpup trigger, which is going to make it even worse. I don't think those sell too well. Magazines, already discussed that. Sights, I discussed that. How about barrels? I don't know of any barrels, and I may have missed them for 795s, but I don't know a reason why you'd want to get rid of that barrel when it only weighs 4.5 pounds. Actually, less than 4.5 pounds. You have a heavy factory barrel that has the perfect dimension chamber for accuracy and reliability. You know, why replace it? I wouldn't. You know, super lightweight gun. Unless, let me say this, unless, like me, you like to tinker and improve designs like we do with our 1022s. You know, I guess you could say the same argument on this 1022. Why replace the barrel with, that's a Butler Creek. Yeah, fooling around, and it is lighter weight than the factory version, actually. And a little bit more accurate in my experience. I know. The 1022 dominates the accessories market. It just does. You got stocks, barrels, sights, triggers, mag releases, you know it. All the stuff I talked about before, kind of lacking in the 795 market. Bummer. If you had a higher capacity magazine, I want to see at least 20 rounds. Super reliable, preferably there's some steel in there. And then a few more accessories. I'd really like to see Butler Creek start producing their stock again for the 795. I think the gun will compete much better against the 1022. I think it sells well as it is because it's so high value, but it'd do even better. What else am I missing on that? I think that's it. Field strip and maintenance. Pretty simple, actually. You pull these two screws out, take the magazine out of court. I'm not going to show you because of airtime. Pull this out, pull that out, pull out the trigger assembly, and then we'll go into the manual for the rest. Turn the gun upside down, and then you will see this right here. They call it a release assembly post. It's made out of plastic. You pull that out, then you swing out the entire action right here. And then once you've done that, you have access to the bolt, charging handle, recoil spring, and spring guide. Pull those out and give them a good cleaning. Factory recommends every 250 rounds. I think that's probably a little bit too frequent. Probably around every 500 to 1,000 you want to get in there and clean things up. Pretty simple to do. How is it compared to the 1022? Maybe about the same, I would say. I was going to say slightly more complex, but it's about the same, and I found it easier to put in the recoil spring and its guide and hooking it back to the charging handle than the 1022. Field strip and maintenance. Simple, man. Then I put a little bit of Slip 2000, maybe some Militech on the bolt and all the wearing surfaces. That's all you need to do. Pretty simple. Oh, I was going to mention this. Trigger guard. I got a little bit happy with the brake cleaner. In fact, that assembly I just showed you, when I pulled it out, I just shot it with brake cleaner to get all the gunk out of it, which worked great. Dried it off, then I relubricated it. And then I got a little bit crazy and said, hey, maybe I'll shoot that trigger guard while I'm at it. Don't do that. It does not resist that solvent. That's why there's a little bit white on the trigger guard. Okay, so don't put brake cleaner or not brake free, but any type of acetone-based solvent on that plastic. Won't work. If you screw it up, though, it's only 18 bucks to replace it. Reliability and durability. During the shooting in the Nutnfancy project, the 795 ran extremely well with factory magazines. When we ran the Shooter's Ridge magazine, it was a box of chocolates. You just didn't know what you were going to get. Mostly jams, in my experience. I hope they improve it. Maybe they will. But with factory mags, you can expect, I will say, better reliability than a stock 1022. There you have it. It was. Still a 22. Occasionally it will jam. I told you about the bolt hold open issues that I had. Overall, the reliability is excellent. I didn't try any 60 grains out of it. I just don't think those run so great in semi-autos usually. Overall, the durability on the 795 is going to be phenomenal. There's that word again. It is. It's just going to last and last. I know this because I have Model 60s in high school that we shot bricks and bricks of ammo through, and they just kept chugging. And by the way, my friend, Sonny, he never cleaned his 60, ever. I was like, dude, you need to clean that. He's like, nah. Maybe one day. We'd go out and hunt some more squirrels in Alabama. Dude, he never cleaned it, and it just kept shucking rounds. I'd throw it in the VW Beetle, driving around. That thing got beat. Same gun, it's just magazine fed. Enjoyment level. Huge. Just ask a 795 owner. Love it. Like I said in the intro, man, I'm a 22 addict. I mean, this is another Hall of Fame gun for me. The super high value that it represents. The reliability, the lightweight, the compact form factor that you can put those tech sights on it. Thank you, Tech Sights, by the way, for making a great accessory for the 795. What's not to like? I mean, those guys, those tactical gurus, maybe they need to spend some more time on rimfire. Maybe we all should. That's where you're going to learn the marksmanship without going broke. And you're going to have a blast while doing it. Shooting steel with the 795 was a rush. Really fun, really fast. I was just wishing to have, I don't know, 30 rounds on tap, reliably speaking. Maybe one day we'll see that for the 795. An absolute Hall of Famer. I love it. I recommend it wholeheartedly. For around $100, you just cannot touch it. That is the Nutnfancy review. Finally, see ya.